mashujaa wetu ambao wameweza kufika kuwa pamoja nasi siku ya leo. Ningependa pia kutambua Professor Abu Manga wa APRM, who is the lead panelist for Kenya's second review under the mechanism. Governor wa Machakos, Governor wa Makueni, mabalozi ambao wameweza kufika, ndugu yangu Mheshimiwa Kalonzo Musyoka, nataka nimwambie wote ni wangu, hata wewe ni wangu. So usijali, kila kitu ni sawa. Wananchi wenzangu, on the 9th of April 2013, I took an oath to be the president of all Kenyans. I swore to protect, preserve, and propagate the ideals of our Constitution. And at the heart of these ideals is the clear understanding that power belongs to the people, whichever corner of the Republic they call home. And that is why, under our new Constitution, we devolve power. That commitment to devolution explains why I could not be happier to be here in Machakos to celebrate this 7th Mashujaa Day with all of you. Every part of Kenya is at the center of Kenya, and that is why we celebrate here in Machakos, and that is why next year we will celebrate the day in another part of our great country. This is unprecedented. For the first time in our history, public holidays are celebrated outside our capital. And indeed, this is proof of my administration's commitment to redeeming the full promise of devolution. This day, however, is about our Mashujaa. Indeed, as it approached, I also thought deeply about what makes a hero. And let us explore together what it means to be a Shujaa. If we were to cast our minds back to 1963, for 3 generations, our people had lived under the brutal yoke of colonialism. This dark period of our history, in many instances, was foretold by our prophets, Masakwa Munyati, Koitalela Rapsamoe, Shegewa Kubiru, amongst others. The dark days duly came. Our fathers were enslaved in their own land, required to wear kipandis around their neck. Their lands were stolen, their customs and cultures demonized, their families divided. Our young men were conscripted to fight foreign wars. Our people were dispossessed and stripped of their dignity. These tribulations forged a generation of men and women of noble character and honor, driven by courage, a deep hatred for injustice, and a fierce desire for freedom. They rose against the might of the British Empire. Some of them bore arms, and we recall Dedan Kimathi, Paul Ngei, Field Marshal Muthoni, amongst others. Jomo Kenyatta and Musa Gitao founded schools to defend the dignity of African customs. Some fought with a pen. People like Henry Moria, Pino Gamapinto wrote the words that inspired our freedom fighters. Still others gave resources and worked for our liberation from beyond our borders. And the names of people like Achieng Oneko, Markham Singh, Dennis Pritt will never be forgotten. And nor can we forget people like Mwindi Bingu, who endured years in concentration camps for his conviction that Kenyans had a right to rule themselves. Or Kisoi Munyao, who crowned the struggle by hoisting our flag on Mount Kenya on the very first day of our independence. These men and women came from every part of the country. Some were even born in foreign lands. But for this nation's sake, they set aside their differences and endured the lash of the whip, the squalor of jail, and the concentration camp, and the brutality of the emergency. And they won our freedom for us. And it is they who define heroism for us. After they won independence, our leaders did not always agree. Indeed, their relationships were often fraught with tensions. They disagreed about political ideology, and they disagreed about governance, but they never disagreed about the necessity of national unity. They held dear the oneness of our motherland and strove for ways to better attain the promise of independence. Indeed, as we settled into our freedom as a country, the relationship between Kenyans and their government deteriorated. Democratic space narrowed. We lost the freedom to speak our minds and pursue our political visions openly and freely. And so a new generation of heroes arose to lead a second liberation, which restored the freedoms we had lost. The names of Kenneth Matiba, George Denge, Charles Rubia, Sinde Moliro, Martin Shikuku, Ahmed Bamariz stand for many. We owe our multi-party democracy to this generation of reformers. In 2002, our journey took a new turn, and over the 8 years that followed, men and women of courage dared to reimagine our democracy. These were our constitutional heroes, and they were men and women of honor: Zamba Kitonga, Kivuda Kibwana, who is a governor today, Martha Karua, James Orengo, and many others. And we owe our Constitution, and indeed our new system of governance, to them. Ladies and gentlemen, my generation of leaders must realize the promise of this new Constitution. And we must therefore entrench devolution, and we must restore the unity our fathers attained. We can do that only by taking this nation beyond the politics of ethnicity, the politics of hatred and division. That day will come only when we build strong national institutions, and amongst them national political parties that truly show the face of Kenya and which show themselves committed to the values of our national covenant. Let me be blunt. History will judge this generation by how well we met that obligation. And yet, ladies and gentlemen, for all our faults, we are also in the middle of a new generation of heroes. Lydia Mkaye and our fellow nurses who braved the scourge of Ebola to bring healing and hope to the people of Liberia. Men like Saleh Farah, who stood up and gave his life to save his Christian friends during a terrorist attack. Innovators in technology like Juliana Rotich, and Kenyans of courage and learning like David Olesangok, who overcame his disability to study medicine and who now leads the fight for the rights of Kenyans living with disability. We have also our most recent heroes from Rio. And let me single out Para-Olympian Samuel Mushai, who brought home 2 gold medals, Jemima Somgok, the first Kenyan woman ever to win an Olympic marathon gold, and Eliud Kipchoge, whose own marathon gold ensured that it was the Kenyan national anthem that closed the Rio Olympic Games. But even as we celebrate this new generation of heroes, we accept that Kenya has changed. Many of our young people are so young that they have no memory of heroic pasts. So it is our duty to teach them that past, not least so that our young people can distinguish between heroes and the fleeting celebrities of the day whose only cause is their own fame. We also teach about the heroes of the past in the hope that they will emulate them, for Kenya still needs heroes. Our unity is not complete. We still remain divided by ethnicity, and the faults of the past still haunt us, and our politics, as we have seen today, is still too ngumu sana hii. Anyway, Kenya is a state, but it is also a nation. The drafters of our Constitution saw that Kenya is its land, is its institutions, and its people. But also, and more importantly, they recognize that there is an underlying promise that binds the people of Kenya, and our new heroes will need to hold fast to this promise. Of course, it exists in our hearts and minds, and exists in every true son and daughter of this great republic, whether they live here or whether they are making a future for themselves in the diaspora. To them, the well-being of Kenya is their true north, their reason for being. We don't identify our heroes by what they say. We know them by their deeds. Our heroes are the ordinary men and women who do extraordinary things every day. The mothers and fathers who work diligently to provide for and bring up their families. The men and women of God who teach us in our homes and communities. The workers in our public and private sectors who wake up early to build this nation. The security officers who put their lives on the line in the service of their fellow countrymen. The honest and diligent leaders in their various fields. Indeed, today, I salute you. You are truly Kenya's heroes. So this day, therefore, belongs to you too. For your day-to-day achievements inspire us to face the challenges we must confront on our path to becoming a nation our heroes can be proud of, a nation all of us can proudly call home. But since heroism is so powerful, we need to be careful whom we celebrate as heroes. Heroes do not use our diversity to divide us. They do not use our different religions to sow intolerance, nor do they use our different ethnicities to excite hatred. Service to family, to community, and to nation is what should define a Kenyan Mashujaa. So if we wish to honor our heroes of past and the present, then we will work towards becoming better Kenyans, serving each other and our nation. To truly serve one another is to embrace one another, and the nation we are privileged to all call home. It is to labor in good works aligned to the national values and principles. That is how we will secure our future as a nation. If we inculcate the spirit of service by teaching our children that serving others means that they serve themselves, and that service makes us all better human beings, better Kenyans, then we will truly be a nation that honors the heroes who won our freedom and those who restored it. Fellow Kenyans, next year, Kenya holds its second general election under the new constitution. As we all prepare to exercise our right to vote, as we pick our leaders, I ask Kenyans not to be deceived by loud and ugly rhetoric that we will hear in the months to come. In making your choices, focus on what our heroes wanted for Kenya, and that was unity, cohesion, and prosperity for all. Let me also in this vein speak to the nation's leadership, whether in the media or in politics or in business and society. You are indeed leaders in your own right. It is time now to become heroes. Campaigns are a delicate period for any country. Kenyans rely on you to navigate this period successfully. As you pursue your own individual and collective aims, I trust that you will show the world that Kenyans can disagree politically and yet remain a strong and united nation. For in the end, all we are asked to do is to strive to become better Kenyans. And as we become better Kenyans, better citizens, we become a better nation, a nation worth dying for. Because only a nation worth dying for is a nation worth living in. Fellow Kenyans, this is the work to which your nation and its heroes call you today, not tomorrow, to fulfill. Wenzangu, kwa hayo machache, mimi sitaki niongeze, sitaki nilete siasa, sio siku ya siasa leo. Siasa itakuwa na wakati wake. Hii ni siku leo ya Wakenya wote, kila mahali walipo. Hii ni siku ya kuwakumbuka mashujaa wetu na kujiuliza sisi wenyewe ni nini ambaye kila mmoja wetu ataweza kufanya kuwa shujaa wa taifa lake. Na kuwa shujaa ni kuwa mtu ambaye anajali maslahi ya mwenzake. Na kujali maslahi ya mwenzake sio kusema mwenzako wa kabila lako. Ni mwenzako, Mkenya mwenzako, jirani yako. Usipodali rangi yake, kabila lake, dini yake, yeye ni Mkenya na astahili ahudumiwe ni wewe na mimi. Na mimi naamini tukifanya hivyo, taifa hili letu ni mengi ambayo tutaweza kutimiza, kuondoa shida mbalimbali ambazo tuko nazo, na kuwa na taifa ambalo kila Mkenya atafurahia na kujivunia. Tukiwa hapa Machakos, furaha yangu ni ya kwamba mumejitokeza kwa wingi, na nasema asanteni sana kwa ukaribisho wenu na kwa vile mpokea siku hii kama wakaaji wa Machakos. Asanteni sana kwenu nyinyi nyote. Na nataka niwahakikishie tutaendelea kuzunguka kila pembe ya taifa letu mpaka tuhakikishe ya kwamba tumeunganisha Wakenya na tumeweza kusonga mbele pamoja vile wazee ambao walienda mbele yetu walikuwa wangependa tuishi. Na mimi nawauliza nyinyi Wakenya wenzangu, mkubali tutembee pamoja katika hiyo barabara. Mkubali ya kwamba hata tukipingana kisiasa ni sawa, lakini tupingane kwa sera, sio kwa mambo ya ukabila, sio kwa mambo ya matusi, sio kwa mambo ya kuingiliana. Ni sera, na wananchi wa Kenya wamesoma, watajua kutambua ni huyu au yule. Na ndio mimi nasema kila siku, yule ambaye atachaguliwa faida ni Mkenya, sawa, tuendelee. Shida iko wapi? Kuna haja ya uadui wenzangu? Tupendane, tushirikiane. Leo hii vile imetajwa, tukiwa tumetoka upande ya Nairobi, tumefungua barabara au tumeanzisha barabara kutoka Athi River mpaka Machakos turnoff, ndio iwe dual carriage. Hiyo ikiwa dual carriage ni kumaanisha ni watu wengi ambao watakuwa wanaishi hapa Machakos wakifanya kazi Nairobi, au wengine wanaishi Nairobi wanakuja kufanya kazi hapa Machakos. Tuendelee pamoja. Wiki ijayo tutarudi hapa tena kwa sababu ya kuanzisha barabara zingine, na pia tunataka kuanzisha mpango wa kutuwezesha kudeal na hii mambo ya drought ambayo imesumbua Wakenya wengi katika kona mbali za taifa. Na tunataka kama serikali tukishirikiana pamoja na serikali za county tuwezeshe wananchi wetu, tuweze kuwasaidia pahali walipo, ndio tuweze kuwapatia maji, nyasi ya ng'ombe zao na mambo mengine. Na hiyo tutaifanya hivi karibuni wiki ijayo, na tutapata nafasi wakati huo wa kuongea mambo mengine mengi. Vile nilitaja jana, pia siku ya leo tumewaachilia zaidi ya wafungwa 7,000 ambao walikuwa wamefanya makosa kidogo au walikuwa karibu kumaliza nafasi zao za kifungo. So 7,000 people approximately ambao tumewaachilia. Hawa ni wale tumesema wezi wa kuku na ng'ombe na mambo chache hii kidogo. Na ndio Chief Justice sasa ako na nafasi ya kufunga wale mabonyenye ambao wameiba pesa mingi. Nafasi kwa jela sasa imetoshea. So kwa hivyo afanye haraka, amalize kazi yake. You have space. There's a lot of space now for you to deal with those people properly. Na maharagwe pia ni mingi na mambo ingine. Kwa hivyo, kwa hayo machache na mengi, mimi nasema Mungu awabariki, Mungu ailinde kaunti ya Machakos, Mungu ailinde taifa letu la Kenya. Asanteni sana, asanteni sana.